force and causing strife and illness among mankind. They are also highly impulsive and violent, reveling in only the base emotions like lust, fear, and anger. They, like many spirits, possess the minds of human beings so that they may derive pleasure from our world. Evidence of their presence is intense feelings of fear and perhaps disgusting odors. Demons are exclusively vampiric in nature and feed from the life force of humans, and it is our life force that gives the demon substance and energy. These spirits can become powerful if allowed to continue feeding in the material plane. Although capable of wearing many forms, demons tend to prefer arriving as hideous forms, with voices and odors that humans find disagreeable. The word jinn is Arabic for demon, and it is where we get the word genie. Unlike many religions, Christianity to name one, Muslims have been given more detailed information regarding the beings in the spirit world, and since much of these details are echoed by those in the occult, the Muslim perspective regarding the spirit world is worth reviewing here. Muslims believe that the jinn were created before mankind and are beings of free will to an extent. The bodies of the jinn are said to be made of smokeless flame, while humans are said to be made of clay and angels made of light. The jinn may come in many forms, but the most common forms are those of spirit, those of man, and those of snakes. There are many reports throughout the scriptures of Islam of jinn in human form. Jinn are said to cause strife and illness among humans and, although not all jinn are evil, delight in making hardship for mankind. Jinn who are wholly evil and operate as direct agents of Satan are called shayateen, and our more powerful jinn are called afrit. As stated previously, the possession of the jinn is often responsible for the worst crimes, the worst acts of impulse, psychological problems, and many physical illnesses. Headaches, insomnia, nightmares, laziness, and antisocial behavior have all been frequently attributed to the influence of jinn. Muslims also believe in the vampiric nature of jinn, claiming that those who sleep in the presence of jinn will wake up tired and depleted. Muslims and members of the occult believe that there is some kind of contract or agreement between our race and the race of jinn. In the occult, this contract is referred to as the covenant. This covenant allows humans to use words of power and thoughts to command the demons. For example, the phrase Bismillah is used by Muslims to cleanse food, water, and even whole rooms of demonic influence. I have heard occult writers remark that this covenant, which was formed between the human and demon races, is the result of the trace amounts of demonic blood found in all people. And it is this blood tie that allows humans, using magic, to master and command our ancestors. Muslims believe that the jinn have been barred from the heavens. Jinn may only stay in the celestial regions for so long before the lack of something to stand on forces them to fall back to earth. They believe that the falling or shooting stars are jinn who have been attacked by angels and forced to plummet back to earth. Today, it is part of popular culture to make a wish when witnessing a falling star. Since making a wish is something you're encouraged to do upon meeting a genie, it is likely that this tradition of making a wish when witnessing a falling star is based on the Muslim belief that shooting stars are genies. Naturally, Muslims are prohibited from making a wish upon seeing a shooting star, and are further prohibited from employing the aid or services of demons. Muslims believe that the jinn mostly prefer to live in places far from the habitation of humans, but the human-looking demons may choose to live among mankind. Jinn are believed to live in places such as oceans, caves, underground, and in the sky, and may even be inclined to occupy dirty places such as landfills and bathrooms. Some jinn, if not all, are capable of reproduction. Followers of Islam are discouraged from keeping dirty and unsanitary living quarters, as it is claimed that these habits attract a jinn into the household. Holy water, which is simply water that has had certain prayers uttered over it, is also used to cleanse a room of jinn and their influence. But there is one jinn you can't just cleanse away, and that is the jinn that was assigned to you at birth. The Muslims, like many in the occult, say that each person is assigned a demon and an angel at birth. This combination of angel and demon in your relationship to them is the true source of much of your personality. Christians only believe in guardian angels because the guardian demon is not mentioned in the Bible, to my knowledge anyways. The next classification that those in the spirit world fall into is called larvae. Larvae, sometimes called thought forms, are the parasites of the spirit world. These parasitic entities are the direct creation of the desires of man. When a person concentrates on a single thought, a larva is formed. Many times, a thought form will die and dissipate the moment that person's attentions are directed elsewhere. But if the individual is consumed by that thought or desire, the larva will continue to grow. Like vampiric spirits, these non-sentient larvae feed from the very thoughts that created it, and will often induce this thought in the mind of its host in order to feed. These beings are not intelligent and cannot be commanded, only banished. The only trace of intellect they display is a sense of self-preservation. These larvae feed upon the life force of their host and continue to steal his vitality until he no longer feeds the being with obsessive thoughts which are usually negative in nature. These beings have no function to humans, whether that function is magical or otherwise. These thought forms, which are concentrations of spiritual energy, can flake off of people and can cling to other people and even objects. In this way, can a person accumulate a sinful nature and places accumulate a bad vibe. This concept of the thought form is, however, a bit more complicated than spiritual insects. This is in no small part related to the fact that thought forms can be projected. These thought projections are a part of our lives in a subtle yet real way. The deliberate projection of a thought form from one mind to another is most commonly known as telepathy. There are certain people that can walk into a room and send the mood of the room into deep freeze, and there are others who can lighten any atmosphere. Humans, and even non-humans, will subconsciously sense the nature of a particular aura and act on that sense in very conscious ways. How many times have thoughts of someone you know come into your mind moments before you received a call from them? Some of these instances are coincidence, in that the people who we often receive phone calls from are the very same who are often on our minds. In other cases, especially when the thought of that person came abruptly and did not evolve into being, as most day-to-day thoughts do, you may have experienced the phenomena of telepathy. The idea of the evil eye pervades many cultures to this day. The evil eye is the sending of malicious and hurtful thoughts through an intentional act of telepathy. Being unaware of the source of these malicious feelings, the recipient of these negative thoughts often interprets and responds to the messages with self-hatred. The recipient isn't the only one who will feel the pain of this attack, however, because the sender is feeding his own larva. Further, the recipient may have an unconscious urge to begin thinking negative thoughts about the sender, which can cause physical and emotional damage to the original sender. Most religions warn against thinking negative thoughts about other people or cursing others under your breath. There is perhaps a good reason for this